majorly what's happening is in public consciousness and even in government, the focus seems to be only on the boundaries of a lake or the boundary of a Rajkalwe. So, whereas the actual ecosystem is the entire wetland. And the wetland means you're talking of the floodplains, the valleys, the marshes. A good 20-30% of Bengaluru originally were marshes, and they would never have been private property or government land, essentially because it has no value in public surveys. So it never belonged to anyone. But as the city develops, what happens is you find truckloads of soil being dumped into those marshes, and then they're leveled, and then fake documents are created because previous revenue documents would not have shown it belonging to anyone. So there's a big fraud that is being perpetrated, perhaps not only in Bengaluru, in all cities. And that's how public lands get encroached into private lands. And then the destruction starts happening, the concretization. And since they sit directly in the path of the water, when there is a rain deluge, these are the places that get flooded. So the genesis of a city's flooding problem is because these wetlands are getting encroached. From a legal perspective, so the problem is now nobody is mapping these wetlands until they are actually lost. If you look at last 20 years of Google Maps or Google Earth or even previous ones, these areas would all appear as marshes and wetlands, and they are getting lost. If you look at from year to year, you'll see they're all getting filled up and concretization is happening. Now, what is the legal framework? There is the wetland rules under Environment Protection Act, and the wetland rules were again amended in 2017. It mandates every state government to set up a state wetlands authority, and that wetland authority is supposed to be in charge of notifying and protecting all wetlands. So this is a cover. It's a legal cover to protect every single area involved with the wetland, which means you're talking of rivers, streams, ponds, lakes, buffer zones, marshes, floodplains. Everything have to be mapped and protected by this one authority. But if you look at India, of all the states, maybe only 2 or 3 have set up a state wetland authority, and again they will not be very active. So I think the Supreme Court has already passed some strictures last year, and it was a case related to Bangalore, if I'm not wrong. We have to collect the documentation on that. The Supreme Court has actually asked why states have not implemented the state wetland authorities, why wetland rules have not been implemented in all the states, and it has asked the states to actually submit their submissions on that. And I don't know where that case is going. I'll have to check. But if we can get this one legislation, the wetland rules, implemented across the country, this is the only way to protect the entire ecosystem of the water bodies.